We're going to talk about fundamentals of economics of innovation. The classes of today, there are going to be two lectures and one tutorial. Then are going to cover all these innovation policies as a holistic view, what a system of innovation is, what a system of regional innovation is, what a national system of innovation is, and so forth. Probably you have been already studying innovations, but we are going to review some of the things that you already know. But before I start that, I would like to present the university very quickly, my university, then to try to get you in love and to see if you want to come to Costa Rica, or also to receive some students and faculty members there. Let me see. Okay, here is Universidad Nacional. This is the name, no? National University, but the real name is Universidad Nacional. We teach in Spanish, but also there are research and other teaching in English. Then you are very welcome. We are the first university in the field of education and technical training with according to the controller agency of the Costa Rica. We are the first university carbon neutral in our campuses. We are the top 10 public sector transparency index on all these years, 21, 22. UNA, we abbreviate, UNA, Universidad Nacional, is ranked as the second among the universities in Costa Rica. We have public 5 universities and 54 private universities. We are ranking number 2, and we are ranking number 83 out of 430 universities in all Latin America. Then we are in a good position, though we hope to be in a better one in the future. And it is, the whole university is accredited with this special High Council of Evaluation, Research and Higher Education, HCEDES, recognizing the French process. Okay, please take into account that we are starting a little bit later. We were hoping to be at 11:30, but because maybe you are hungry very soon, and I hope you resist. Póngame una hora, por favor. Then, okay, we are very committed to quality and excellence in the university. For instance, we have female scientists, very powerful, among the 100 most powerful women in Central America, working in the area of tsunamis and ocean research. Also, in the first place, in the area of physical education. We are also working in oceans and all the oceanographic sciences, and we are going to be present in this year in the worldwide meeting in France with this. And we are also working in seismology and volcanology, because we have more than 100 volcanoes in Costa Rica, and we have once in a while earthquakes, and then we have a very good research in this area. We have international agreements and partners in the different continents. You can see here America, Europa, and Europe, and Asia. We're missing one flag there, the Indian flag. Then I hope that soon we can have one. You heard the Dean talking, the Dean I think is the position of him, about MOU. We are hoping to push this memorandum of understanding and soon have the possibility of exchanging faculty members, and also students going back and forth. But then right now we have 58 universities as international partners, 11 institutes, 3 external organizations, and 3 agreed networks. And we have more than 2 billion colones. This means like around $500 billion in different projects among those countries that we have the flags there. And finally, I wanted to explain you about the organizational structure. We have 8 colleges in different parts of the country, 32 schools, 12 institutes, 17 libraries, and 5 humanistics schools. This is the map of our country, Costa Rica, and then these are the different campuses located in different parts, in the south, in the north, and in the central of the country, with research laboratories located in the Pacific Ocean and in the Atlantic Ocean. Costa Rica is a country that you can go from the Atlantic to the Pacific in the same day. Then go to the 2 oceans, and we have this particularity. And I finalize this presentation of the university, showing that we have several PhD programs, one in natural sciences and development, another in human movement, or all the areas of sports, Latin American studies, economic policy, social sciences, and interdisciplinary doctorate in socio-religious studies. And then, of course, the research that we do in these PhD programs are managed in English or Spanish or other languages, and therefore you can consider to study all of these. Well, but let's talk about a little bit how we compare Costa Rica and India, especially in the area of innovation. Here is a comparative data from Costa Rica. The ranking on the World Innovation Index. Costa Rica is in number 70. However, India is in the 39. It's much better, India than Costa Rica. The ranking in the region, we are better because we're in the 7th, and then India in the 17th. The value of the index is that value, 28 and 46. The total index at the global side is constructed taking into consideration ranking per institutions, ranking per human capital, ranking of infrastructure, ranking of sophisticated market, and ranking of sophisticated business. Then you can see the positions of each one of them. Then you can see that in human capital and research, we are in Costa Rica is in 82 place, and India is 51. On the other hand, in infrastructure, we are in 59 and India is in 72. Then it depends on what you see, what parts of the ranking of innovation you study, you will discover or you will find that India is much better or Costa Rica is ahead. But one that is terrible is the gross expenditure on research and development as percentage of the GDP, of the gross domestic product, that in Costa Rica is only 0.27% of the GDP is spent on this in the year 2024, and 0.69 in India, much better. However, at the end, we can have a GNP per capita up to the 1st of December 2023. In Costa Rica, we have 15,000 euros per person per year. In India, only 2,294. This is the calculation that is made by the World Index calculation. This is the difference a long time. A long time, the comparison of the evolution of the GNP per capita. India is in the, orange line. You can see that it was growing a little bit, but still in 2023, 2,294 euros, and Costa Rica 15,154 per capita, no? Okay. Now, a country is also measured by their problems. one of the problems of our countries are always the international debt, no? And then how in debt is India and Costa Rica? Here is the evolution of public debt in as percentage of GNP. Again, India is in the orange and is about 80% of the GNP, which is very complicated for managing the economics of the country. And Costa Rica is also in a complicated situation. As you can see, it grew up after the pandemic even more. And after 2010, very complicated. Now we are above 60%. In Costa Rica, we have a law that if we are in debt above 60%, then the budgets of the institutions are cut down and are reduced. And then right now we are facing like 3 or 4 years already with institutions included in universities with shorter budget than any that other years. And here is the comparative evolution of the world ranking for innovation index of India and Costa Rica. It was much better India before, but in the 2020 it shifted. Costa Rica became on the top, and then it went into a higher performance, and then Costa Rica right now is in the number 70 and India is in the position 39. By the way, all the presentations I'm going to give you, okay, this, if you want to take pictures or whatever of the presentation, no problem, but I also will handle you all the presentations. Then for you it's better to take notes or whatever than, or make questions. And finally, India is very different than Costa Rica in size. And you see, India has more than 272 times the Costa Rican population. And India has 64 times the territory of Costa Rica. Actually, Costa Rica has, let's see, 51,100 square kilometers. And Punjab has 50,000 kilometers. This is more or less the same than Punjab. As you can see in these numbers. Huh? So far, some idea where I'm coming from, where the university, how do we compare to each other. And why is this important? Well, as I was saying before in the talk, in the inauguration, I haven't done. People are waiting or expecting from the universities and from us researchers and so forth, to give answers to these problems of underdevelopment, the problems of inequality, the problems of competitiveness. This is what we are going to see, the outline: competitiveness, knowledge, innovation, what are innovation, different types of innovation, where innovations are coming from, learning processes, and policies and university role. This is what I expect to talk with you in this hour. We start from competitiveness. How many of you study economics? Please raise your hand. Everybody. Then everybody, almost everybody. Then you know very well what competitiveness is. Somebody that want to tell me how do you understand? How do you understand competitiveness? Is a country competitive when what? Or a business is competitive when what? Yes? Raise your hand. Feel free to speak. If not, is that everybody knows, then I can ask somebody. How do you feel? What is competitiveness? Yes, you, the first one, in the first line. Yes, you. You have an idea? No? But beside you, she has an idea.
Competitiveness is somewhat you have showed us the slides, na?
Yeah?
You are showing Costa Rica and India's comparison.
Yes.
In some slides India is up and in some slides Costa Rica is up.
Okay.
So, but these are showing that they are competing with each other.
Very, very good. Okay, we have we have one business or one country more competitive than other when you compare both of them. But you want more competitiveness is when you produce more and when somebody accepts more your product than the other product. Then, for instance, if she is producing something but it's very expensive and mine is less expensive, then they will accept mine. I am more competitive than her. Okay? Now, but let's suppose she is India and I am Costa Rica, and then she produces, I don't know, rice or wheat. Okay, I do produce the same. Mine is more expensive than her. Then she is more competitive than me. But then when I decide to load the salaries of the people to have a cheaper wheat, then you will think, oh, but this is not fair. No, this is not competitive. I mean, you are not doing a fair business or deal. You are actually reaching competitiveness, reducing the quality of life of the workers. I am reducing the salaries of the people. Or, let's suppose other thing. I don't reduce the salaries, but I say, well, she is very competitive with wheat and I am not. I'm going to use more fertilizers and more pesticides in my fields, then they will grow more than her. Yes, but am I spoiling the water? Am I spoiling the environment? I am really achieving competitiveness. You see, then start to be not so simple. Okay? When we do spoil the water, or when we affect the environment, or when we are affecting the labor force, we are calling that we have an spurious competitiveness. And spurious competitiveness is a competitiveness that is not really going to work, that is really fake. Because I can also do reducing the value of my currency. Because if you have a central bank and you have colones in Costa Rica or rupees in India and you are working in the international market with the competitiveness of your products, and you say, okay, I have a problem, then let's give less rupees for every product than before. And then I can sell more. No, it's not fair neither, and it's not good neither for the economy. Then competitiveness is key for this question, how to make our business and our countries more competitive. Competitive can be defined as the ability of a business to deliver better value to customers than competitors. But better value not using spurious competitiveness, but using other ideas, other things. And you say, how can we do that? How can we be more competitive? How my business can be more competitive than the business of my friend that is in front of me? What can I do? Well, of course I can lower the salary of the people. I can do other things that I will not paint my business. I will not do, no, but this is not the idea. The idea is to have a different approach. It is to increase our competitiveness through innovation. We need to switch towards a new ways of production. In other words, we need to have innovation. In order to be competitive, we need to have innovation. Very easy, no? It is ready, we can finish the class. No, because now What is innovation? Innovation, of course, everybody talk about innovation. The professor in the morning was saying, we are going to talk about economics of innovation or for sustainable development. Everybody talk about that. Okay, everybody talk about that. Nobody. If I say it here, who don't know what innovation is? Nobody. Please raise your hand. If somebody don't know what innovation is. Everybody know what is innovation. Okay, let's ask somebody. Do you want to know, to say something about innovation? Yes, you the one of the glasses. What do you think is innovation?
Innovation, can we say that designing the new things to tackle with the problem coming in the society? Like
Very good, very good. Designing new things. Yes?
We use different forms of technology.
Different forms of technology. Which is better? Let me see. Or both are good? Yes? Somebody there? Somebody else want to say innovation?
Innovation is to refine the product.
To
Like
redefine the product.
refine the product. Like
Refine the product.
mobile phones increasing day by day.
Okay, okay. Then, let's think.
So
Upgrading
innovation
the
is
technology.
Sorry?
Upgrading the technology.
Upgrading the technology. Okay, you see, we have many definitions.
Innovation
Here,
is new idea.
or
New idea.
new idea. Okay, something that didn't exist. Something, a new idea. I mean, you think, okay, they think in a new idea. Okay, then you are the professor or you are the, let's say you're a consultant and somebody contract you and you come to the business and you say, okay, you know, yes, what happened is that you have no competitiveness enough. You need to be innovative. And then what you need to do is to have new ideas. You can upgrade technology. You can do whatever. Then the person don't really know what to do, how to do. Innovation generally is related to something that didn't exist or didn't exist before. Let's suppose that we have this podium, and let's suppose there were no podiums at all. It was not necessary to have a podium. Somebody had the great idea to make a podium. Okay? An idea that didn't exist before. Nobody had it. Okay. How to do the podium? Okay. How it should look like? Is it wood or glass or metal? It should be tall, down, should include microphone or not, and there are many things. Once the podium is done, as he said, maybe many redefines of the podium because there are different podiums, and then my podium become more competitive than the other podium, and mine is more sell than the other one. But the first one that the person invented, this person invented from zero? Really? From zero? Let's think about it. When we talk that we have innovations because we have something new, is it really new? Or is really the knowledge of many things that have been accumulated a long time and transformed into a new thing, new process or new product? In order to make this podium, we need a wood. We need a meter to make a measure. We need probably glue. We need a hammer. We need many things that must existed before in order to have the podium. To make the screen. Before it was no screens. Or before it was no PPT or PowerPoint presentations. In order for me to make the PowerPoint presentation, it was necessary to have the computer and the software. But in order to have the software, I needed to have the screen. In order to have the screen, we needed to have electricity. In order to have the electricity, we needed to have the cables. Then what is really new? Everything existed before. Then what happened is that in innovation, we need to consider that we need to use the knowledge that have been developed before, maybe for a long time, maybe it's in front of our nose, and we don't realize how to do the innovation. Then, innovation and competitiveness, of course, are key for development. And to produce innovation, we need, as I said, knowledge. We need knowledge. Now, of course it's fixed. No. Now, what is knowledge? Because here, for instance, at the university, we can come to share our knowledge, your knowledge and my knowledge. What do you think is knowledge?
The information that a person has.
Information.
He can communicate to the other person.
Okay, information and communication is knowledge. It could be, but information is information. This, what I'm giving to you, is information or is knowledge? This that I'm communicating to you is communication or is knowledge? And the knowledge, if I give it to you, this information, you capture it and became your knowledge, or not?
Yes.
Because sometimes, like I'm giving the talk here, and maybe you don't understand my English, broken, or you are busy doing your thing, or you're answering your phone, or whatever, and you are not really paying attention, then I may be talking the whole day, and you don't get it. I gave you all the information, but you didn't get the knowledge. What is knowledge, and where we get the knowledge from? This is what we are going to talk now. Knowledge, parts of information or information acquired by people or organizations. It's not only by people, also the organizations or the businesses, for instance, have the possibility to get knowledge. They are experience, they are education, theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. The knowledge that companies and institutions possess is fundamental part of their value. Sometimes you sell one business and it is very expensive and somebody is willing to pay for that business a lot because what they know. But business is not the building. The business is probably the people that have that knowledge incorporated in their head. If you sell the business, generally you must assure that you are giving it with all the people that are inside. What are these values? Well, human capital that they have. And human capital, again, what is it? Well, many people say, well, human capital are the people that are working in the business. Yes, but it's not only the people. It's what the people know about. How they know how to do it. How they know how to do it competitively. How to do it efficiently. How to do it in less time. More clear, with less environmental impact, and so forth. Also the structural capital, practices and processes, and the relational capital with the environment. All these three elements are also part of fundamental of the value of the organization that is included in the knowledge. Okay? Now, if we know that, we know what innovation is, we know now what knowledge is, but then how to manage it, how to handle it. Well, at the beginning, knowledge was passed through generation in generation. It was not written documents. It was the same that a song was written by, was sung by somebody, and then the nephew or the grandson, granddaughter, and so forth, were learning generation to generation. But later, then written parts existed, and then all the kind of transformation and transmission of the knowledge was present. It was basically at the beginning, tacit knowledge. What is tacit knowledge? Tacit knowledge is the knowledge that you have, that a person has. Something that you cannot pass to somebody. Like, let's suppose I want to pass my knowledge to this gentleman that has a black shirt and sweater. And I ask him if he can pass me some of his tacit knowledge. Meaning, again, this tacit knowledge is something that you have, but it's very complicated to pass it to me. Okay. Do you have an idea like which one? Well, let's give an example. Do you know how to drive?
Yes.
Somebody raise the hand that doesn't know how to drive a car.
Own experience.
Sorry?
Experiences. Own experiences is called technology.
Yes, you are one step forward. Yes, raise the hand of somebody that doesn't know how to drive a car, please. Okay, just beside. Very, very good. Do you have a car? You, yes. Okay. Let's suppose that she that is beside you wants to have your car to go around to do something. And I offer her to show her how to drive, and I write a booklet, and I show it to her. She studied the booklet, she learned the booklet, I made an examination, she had 100% in the exam, and now would you give your car to her? You will not give it. But I gave the examination, I gave her the teaching, I gave all the knowledge, I have everything, but it was not gone because it's tacit. In order for her to learn, he must go into the car and jump sometimes, and try to learn by trying. It's a learning process that you can do. Then let's repeat. How to manage the knowledge? Well, at the beginning was just generation by generation talking and doing like that, or showing how to do I don't know, the choose of the horse, and doing by hard way. Later on became other ways, but we are facing the problem of having tacit knowledge that is complicated to pass, and that is only possible to pass it if we have a process of learning. The same happened with the bicycle, no? If you go with a bicycle running, but you don't know how to bike, you must fall down many times in order to have the bike running, okay? It's because you're dumb. No, it's because you have not practiced yet. But there are other things. Why only these two things? Driving and bicycle. No, there are many other things. If you go into a laboratory or you go into the computer and so on, and you read sometimes the whole manual, you say? Huh?
It's learning by doing.
Exactly, but not only by doing. We are going to see there are many other ways of learning, not only by doing. But the most simple one that we always have in our mind is learning by doing, learning by researching, learning by mistaking, learning by, okay? And it should not be, we should take this into account. But then, the other way to do the pass of the knowledge is in a codified manner. Then we can codify the knowledge and try to pass it over. Writing a book, and then I give you my knowledge through a book, codifying it. Really, I'm not giving you the knowledge. I'm giving you the information, like she was saying before. The information I have, that I write it in Spanish or in English or in Hindi or whatever. Okay, different languages. These are different ways of codifying the knowledge. We can also codify the knowledge making a video, like I am filming here, somebody is filming here. then I can use now other kinds of codification, no? Or the computer, or a journal, or different ways of codification of knowledge. And this is a way of systematize and pass through. In other words, it means putting, say, knowledge into accessible, understandable, and appropriate terms for transformation, for transmission, and use of the knowledge by other people, books, video, records, and so forth. Now, the point is that in order for the knowledge to be economically interested, you need to use it. Because, again, let's suppose we have the idea, great idea of making a podium. We have a podium, and now I show you all that we have a podium. And you say, well, we don't need that. We don't use it. Nobody buy it. Then the invention was only an invention and it didn't work. But maybe later on, 100 years after, somebody take this idea and said, okay, this may be good for this. Let's see, electricity. Electricity was a great invention, a great innovation. But nobody knew what to use it for. Many years after, the bulbs and the illumination was created, using the energy that was years before invented. Then we must consider that this systematized or this codification is important because we are living that or having that produced, and maybe in the future somebody is going to use it. Somebody will make it economically important. So far, it may not be economically important. Okay. Now, knowledge is fundamental, let's remember, for innovation. If you have no knowledge, you have no innovation. Because innovation, after all, is to do the things in different way. It's this classic sentence that says, if you do the same way, you always find the same things. But if you are going to do it in a different way, you will have something innovative. But in order to do something in a different way, you need to have knowledge, applied knowledge, different, to do the things different. Because if not, you will do always the same. But then, the point is also more what innovation is. Let's say it's something new, something that didn't exist. It's an introduction of new things. But innovation is cumulative, is non-linear, is dependent on the past, is dependent of the context, is continuous, is interactive. Firms rarely innovate themselves or alone. Let's take it one by one. It's cumulative, like I showed you before when we were talking about the podium. We needed the hammer, we needed the glue, we needed the idea, we needed the meter, and so forth. Whatever innovation you have, you need many things from the past. Non-linear, because it's not like you have today the wood, and tomorrow you have the hammer, and the next day, no, it's very interactive and very non-linear. It's dependent of the past. It's dependent of the context, because here in India, you may have some ideas of how to innovate the wheat growing. And maybe we have different ideas in Costa Rica. We have been walking around and see the rural ways of development here. And it's amazing for us, for my wife and me, that the things that we see, for instance, the driving is very crazy here. But I don't see how people manage, because they don't smash the cars in front of each other. I have already more than a week. I haven't seen any crash of the car. And I was in Delhi, and I closed my eyes because the cars were coming against us, and they were like not only like that. They do, and it's like you go, and they pass. Then this is according to the region. If I do this in my country, of course I smash my car immediately. It depends on the context. How we use a knife, how we use the pesticides, how we use the driving. Well, by the way, you drive in the left hand side. We drive in the right hand side in Costa Rica. And you know that England also do in the left. I studied in England also, and the first time I was looking, crossing the street and looking on the other side to see if the car was coming, and the car was coming here. Then why? According to the context. Okay? Nobody in Costa Rica will ever think in drive in the left hand. I will not say the same here because I saw already people driving both ways. But definitely the innovation is according to the context, geographical context. And it continues, it doesn't stop. And it's interactive. Nobody, many businesses, somebody studied business here, business, no, business administration, no? Okay, well, but the people that study business administration generally now say, okay, the business must have a research and development department because they want to innovate. But it's sometimes difficult to explain that. No, if you want to have it, okay, go ahead, use money in the research and development department. But it's very rare, it's very difficult that somebody make an innovation alone in the laboratory or in an office or in a department. The innovation is social, is interactive, is talking. That's why the great research departments or centers like in United States, Silicon Valley, or in China, Shanghai, or in other places, or here in India, in Gurumar, donde pasamos? Gurugram. These places, why you go there and they are not in closed offices? Outside there are coffees and they're taking coffee and having fun and talking and so on, and you say, these people are lazy people. These people are wasting their time. No, it's because it's social. Maybe they find each other and say, hey, what is going on? I have a problem, I am researching on this and this and I cannot do it. And I have a friend that was doing this last time, and they exchange information in the coffee or in the tea place or whatever, because the innovation is social. The innovation is interactive. It's very rarely that firms innovate alone. They are together. They are mixed. It's not just by chance that they develop all these areas with these big environments and with different set of offices and set of places and so forth. But how can we innovate? Now we know what innovation is. Now how can we innovate? Well, God bless you. We have to do things different way, as I said, but in order to do that, we need to have this new knowledge. But how can we increase our knowledge? How can we increase our knowledge? Through learning processes. Learning processes. By reading books? Yes, maybe. By taking classes? Maybe. Paying attention to teachers? By the way, is everybody paying attention? Or what else can we do? Let's say learning processes. Okay, competitiveness, innovation, knowledge, learning. Okay, very easy. Everybody know what learning is again. Okay, what learning is. Somebody want to say what is a learning process? Learning from where? Learning how? What does learning mean? Let's see what learning means. Before we go into learning, let's say we have different types of innovation. We are going to review this in detail later on, but we have here 4 types of innovations. To start with, innovation, organizational innovation. We organize in different way. For instance, instead of being here only standing, I can be talking with you all around. Or one business, in order to produce something, a product, may develop different departments and organize in a different way. Then it could be innovative. Maybe one person can do 2 things or 3 things, and then you save money, or you have a different understanding of the product and so forth. Technological innovation, technological approach on processes. She mentioned before technology. Yes, technology is one important thing. But generally the people say innovation, technology. And it's not only one. It's not the only one that we can see. Okay? Technology is very important. ICT, information communication technology, artificial intelligence, and so forth are tools to help the process of innovation. Institutional innovation. Understanding institutions as rules or behaviors or customs or ways of doing things. You know, like how many persons work in play in one team of cricket? 11 and 11, no? Yes. Nobody will think in saying, tomorrow I will play with 15 and 15. No? Or 5, but maybe when we were kids, we're playing 5 and 5 because there were only 5. Huh? But in the official rules are 11. This is institutionalized. Nobody will say, Australia is coming with 15 and India is coming with only 11. No, they must accept that. Well, the same in soccer. No, we have 11 also. 11 players. One is the goalkeeper. Nobody will say, okay, we have 11, but I'm going to have 3 goalkeepers. No, because it's institutionalized that, however, institutions may change. You see, in football, they are changing some things. Now they have the VAR, the virtual review, for instance, for penalty. Now before it didn't exist. Now it is accepted by everybody. Okay. Then you have a new rule. The size of the field, the way we drive, in which way we drive, the right and the left. These are institutionalized situations or rules of the game. Sometimes in trade, for instance, in trade and the trade organizations, we have tariffs, and we agree to eliminate the tariffs. But somebody, I will not say names, somebody will say, okay, if you don't agree what I said, I will raise your tariffs. Then the other country say, okay, I will raise them too. I said, okay, I will raise them more. Okay, then they are breaking the institutions. They are changing the institutions. But we can make changes in the institution in order to have innovation. And market innovation, that you know marketing, the different ways of marketing things. Before it was only in the stores and only giving some sales and something like that. Now there are many ways of having marketing. There are other two things or types of innovation. We have radical and incremental. Radical is when you have something that didn't exist today, and here it is. Invented immediately. Something that came out from the knowledge that we had before, but it was like that. Immediately we have a radical innovation. Others, that is most common, are incremental. A long time are coming and finally are introduced in the whole process. And we have according to objectives. Some innovations may be social. You want to create innovations to help the society, to increase the income, to have better quality of life, to help the people. Others are more economical. You want to increase the ganancias, how do you say the profits. You want to increase the profits or the income of your society or your business. And others, very important, are environmental innovations. Okay, you are worried about the business, yes, but you are also worried about the environment. Then, of course, you can have mix of all of them. But now you have different types of innovation. We are going to review this typology in the afternoon, one by one, with some examples. Key to remember that all of them are coming from new knowledge, obtained by learning. Okay? Then we go back to learning. What a learning process is. It is one where you learn from information you receive. Like we were talking before. Information can be a product, codified knowledge, or tacit knowledge. These are different ways of information. You learn by doing, like you were saying, yes, you learn by doing, but also there are learning in socially rooted processes, meaning social capital matters. Okay? Then society in itself have their own ways of producing the innovation or the knowledge. Innovation must be the joint production of increased competences and the emergence of new ideas. Then that's why we go to the university, that's why we go to the school, because we need to increase our competences. But our competences are not enough. It's necessary to have new ideas, new processes, new sharing of knowledge in society, exchange of ideas and learning processes in order to do different. Learning processes are developed in laboratories, of course, in research centers and universities, but not exclusively. We made mistake if we are thinking that the university is the only one that produces the knowledge and the new knowledge. Of course, we have many things are developed in here, like patents or laboratories and so forth, that businesses don't have. But also there are businesses that really have a facility to do this process. That's why we talk about knowledge society. And we also talk about knowledge economics. And we also talk about economics of learning, or learning economics. Now you understand what learning economics is, or what knowledge economics is. Because knowledge economics is going into this direction, that in order to be competitive, is not a matter of managing salaries or exchange rate or do so. It's a matter. It is something that you need to do to change all this understanding the how you increase the process of innovation. And also, I like very much to talk about learning economics because I think that the economy is also learning. Economy was very much concentrated in micro, macro, and businesses. I was not very much interested in anything about what was going on in the laboratories or in the science. The environment and the science were for these other people very crazy that study in the labs and so on. We are in the real world, in the businesses and how the countries perform. Now we realize that all this that is happening in the laboratories and in the natural sciences and exact sciences faculties are also important for the economics. That if we destroy the environment, now we know that economics is also going to be destroyed. Then that's why I talk more about learning economics, because I think the economy is also learning and transforming. We will talk day after tomorrow about ecological economics. Not only environmental economics and natural resource economics, but also ecological economics. It's a new way of understanding how the economy should work in order to achieve sustainable development. That is another word that everybody talk about, sustainable development. But what is it really? And are we achieving it? Are we working in the right direction? We are going to talk about that, but finally, I think to say that knowledge society shows that learning processes are generated as part of interactive, systemic, and social interaction. Let's put this into a graph. Let's say graph. ¿Cómo se dice esto? A graph or a drawing that I have here to try to explain this. The role of knowledge and learning processes from production and consumption. Let's have this clear. In the economics, we are talking about that to produce things, we need the knowledge, we need the intelligence, we need the know-how to produce whatever. Let's say we need to produce this bottle, then we need to know about plastic, we need to know about models, we need to know about these cups, and we need to know about the material and so forth. Maybe we need somebody from the laboratory to tell us what kind of plastic is this, how deep is done, if it is recycled or not, or whatever. If we are going to make a microphone, we need to know about the electricity, and about the sound, about the megawatts and megahertz and so on. Scientific and technical knowledge to put it together to have a product. But all of this is coming from materials. These are materials, energy, and knowledge. It's okay? If we are going to produce whatever, let's think the podium. We need the wood, material. We need energy, the person heating or cutting and doing, and also maybe we need to put some energy for sawing the wood or so forth. And we need to know the knowledge. I mean, we need to have the knowledge more or less how the polymer is going to look like. I mean, we can have hundreds of tens of bottles, different bottles, hundreds of tens. And you make a microphone and say, no, I need one that can fold in this way and put it in this order. Okay, then a different knowledge and you change your idea and you do it. I need a bottle for water, yes, and you bring the big bottle. No, I need something small, okay, no, something smaller, okay, then. No, something bigger, okay, and I want this to be smashed and crushed. Different things. But at the same time, you are using the same. The energy and the material. You mix these three things and make a production process. In the production process, you're already mixing the three things, the three elements, and you have a product, and the product goes into consumption. Okay? Then, consumption generally is the one that is pulling asking for new products. Right? Okay, now I need a bigger bottle, I need a different microphone, I need a different podium, I need a different cloth, I need different chair, and whatever. Okay? Then I produce different. No problem. This is what I'm working on. Okay? This is business. This is economics. And of course, every time you say something, then I need to sort of innovate. I need a bigger microphone. Okay, bigger. How do I do it bigger? I need this fold. Okay, how I make it fold? I will do it. No problem. Okay, I need a suit. I said, I need a suit. Okay, I deal with this big, I don't know what you call it. This is bigger. Or whatever. Then people are changing and innovating and doing that. But at the same time, this is the process. Now, where is the learning there? There is direct and indirect learning. Direct learning coming from the mixes of these three things. How you mix them, how do you produce them, how do you assemble them to do that. And indirect learning, once the other say, no, I saw that bigger, I saw that beautiful, more beautiful, why not you change this and so forth, then are not only direct learning that maybe you read from a manual or you learn from the university. You know, you in the university, maybe they show you in the technical university how to mic the microphone, but once you are on the field of working, you need to change the teaching that they show you in order to adapt to a new demand. Then you have direct learning and indirect learning. So far it's okay, no? You understand these two? Okay, direct learning from books, from video, from teaching. Indirect learning by how you have been learning in the practice and how the people are demanding you new things. And all are coming from production processes and consumption. Yeah? Because, I mean, if I'm going to do the podium, I don't know how to do a podium. But now I have an idea how a podium looks like. And you give me a wood, hammer, claws, ¿cómo se dice? Claws? Nails, and so forth, and you say, make a podium. I will try to do it, yeah? The first one is going to be not very good. The second, a little bit better. But when I have 100, I know how to do a podium, no? If I have 100, if I have 1,000, I will do it much better, and so forth. Then the practice is going to help me because the production process show me, okay, increase my learning by indirect learning rather than direct learning. And the consumption, more demands, more changes are also teaching me. Then the learning process is going in there. But at the same time, I need to have some forgetting. Some forgetting because you need to forget to do the old things or the old ways you did the first time. The first podium that I was doing, or the first microphone that I was doing, probably I was doing wrong things. Many mistaken things. If I learn bad, I always will continue doing it bad. But it may change a long time when you are increasing your production. But not only that, not only because the practice is still, but because new research is coming. If you use pesticides in the crops, it's very good. It grows a lot the crops. It kills all the bugs and all the pests. But after years and years, people know and learn and research that the water is polluted, the underground is polluted, the environment is polluted, the people are polluted, and that they're sick and so forth, and they needed to change. But you already learned. How you will forget? Well, you need to forget. Sometimes you need to change the law. You cannot use such and such and such pesticide. And then you must have an institutional innovation, a change of rules, a change of law, in order to everybody to forget about this thing. It's not that they forget totally, no, because it's not that they erase from the mind, but to forget from the process, in order to introduce a new production or a new learning. Okay, but also there are other types of forgetting, because suppose you use typewriters, and now the secretary are not using typewriters, you use computers. Okay, it's not that they forget forever how to typewrite, but now you don't have typewriters, now you use computers. Okay, but now you don't have computers, now you have iPads, okay, or you have other tools to do it. Then these are the things that are going on in this knowledge and learning process. Now, another important thing is that all this is produced not in an empty space. Some people, when talk about innovation systems, talk about that right here. Furthermore, there are some literature that talk about innovation systems and innovation and knowledge and learning processes up to here. I actually add some of my thesis work of long time ago in Denmark with Ben Okelumble, one leader of the innovation in the world, who also accepted that this is not happening in the empty space. This is happening in the ecosystems. If I am doing good or doing bad, it's going to affect the ecosystem. Where is the ecosystem there? There is nothing. Okay, then we can introduce this is the ecosystem. And the ecosystem services. What do you mean for ecosystem services? Well, the air, the water, the biodiversity, and so on, no, are part of this. Then, all the material and energy are within this. The production processes are there, and the consumption are there, within the ecosystem. If you make consumption and throw away the garbage, it's going to get into this place. It's going to destroy or affect the ecosystem. If you produce with very bad practices, then it's also going to affect the ecosystem. Then the ecosystem will behave also, and will have impacts on society. For instance, we'll have problems with drought or with climate change or loss of biodiversity and other things, and then we are also learning from there, and there is a new role. Look at this. This is important. What is it? Very important. Very important learning. A learning process of what is happening in the ecosystem and the ecosystem services if we do produce without innovation. If we continue doing our production systems without taking care of the environment, of the society, and so forth, we will have the same production. ¿Cómo ando de tiempo?
Ya.
Okay. You see, my stomach was already telling me, I think you are running time. Okay, but this is very important, no? This is very important. Let's try to finish very quickly. Then there's, I was saying in the morning, there is where universities are coming from. They should get there. Then the traditional universities are universities. The university was provider of basic research and trained persons. Generally, at the university were students coming and we train them and we send them to the market. Okay? And research centers. Okay? Connection with industry is through the candidates or graduates. Separation among study centers, universities, productive sector, industries, and government. Generally, the universities have their own word, productive sectors have their own word. I don't know if I am pronouncing well, but they are their own interactions, and government their own interactions. And generally the industry was for production, the university was for basic research and teaching, and the government for regulations. Now we need to realize that this must change, that innovation is also innovation of organizational production of knowledge. We need to go into a strong interaction, no separate things. Government is all the bureaucracy that also put the rules and give us the money. That's it. And universities are those people that are teaching and researching, but they live there. No, we now need a strong interaction among the three components: universities, industry, and government. In spite that each institution maintains its primary role and distinct identity, it's not that we do all the same. It's not that tomorrow we are going to, as university, try to make the rules or behave as government. No, but it is that universities take some businesses and government functions, that industry does research and training at high level, and governments make available venture capital to help begin new enterprises. It should be strengthened, a strong interaction among the academia, the productive sector, and the government. This is what we call the triple helixes. The triple helix. What a triple helix? Because there are three areas. Each one of those were an helix that must speed, like these helixes here on the ceiling, that has three that we need in order to work better. They do together. And policies for new role of the universities, innovation policy for economic growth and international competitiveness, they should be encouraged, increasing the importance of innovation policy, but not only thinking on technology, not only thinking in internet. You want more competitiveness, you want more innovation, okay, get a computer. No, this is good, but it's not enough. Innovation policy learning, strengthening interaction with the triple helix, and innovation policy for development. Look at the first one is for economic growth and international, and the second one, innovation policy for development. In development, technological, organizational, and institutional factors feed upon each other, build a stronger national, regional, and local, and sectoral systems of innovation. We are going to see these four in the afternoon. A national system of innovation, regional system of innovation, local system of innovation, and sectoral system of innovation. We are going to talk about that. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.